Okay, this is a few things you're going to need for the dough. You need some vegetable, canola oil, or even olive oil works. Your all-purpose flour, salt, sugar. You want yeast. Okay, instant dry yeast seems to work well. Any kind of a measuring device for liquid. Okay. Now, I use a little spoon when I'm using the salt and the sugar. If you have one of these, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Okay, these are, gosh, I don't even know if they make them anymore. I beat the dough in this. It makes it go a lot quicker for me. If you don't have one of these, you can either use, if you have like a Bosch mixer or something like that, and you can also knead it by hand too. There's some other great videos on YouTube for kneading dough. And so we're going to start our dough. Very similar. First thing to do is make your water. Oops, just make it. Oh, that's hot. We don't want too hot. You should boil the yeast. You want too cold, or I should say, if you have it too cold, then it won't proof for you. So just what I usually say is when it's warm to the touch. Okay, so when you put your hand under there, it feels warm. Okay, make it just a little bit hotter than that. Okay, the recipe I have is in the magazine, which not all of you YouTube videos have. So I'm going to go for a little bit of a thicker crust today. I'm just going to show you here. I want to have just a little over a cup and a quarter. Okay, there, that's perfect. Okay, you put your water in your little mixer. I have a spoon like that full. Okay, just kind of heaping. I usually put just a little under 2 of them. And you want your sugar, okay, heaping, and salt. Don't mix them up for other recipes. And the oil, I just do just a little dab of it. The reason for the oil, I find, okay, is it gives texture and also a bit of color to it as well when you cook it. Then what I do is I hit the on button and start mixing it. Then you add your flour to it. See that still pretty sticky? Add a little bit until it makes a nice ball in there so that it won't stick to the side. And then you can stick your hand in there. If it sticks to your fingers when you touch it, turn it back on and add just a little bit more. If you add too much, it'll get too dry and it'll make your crust too hard, I find. So that should be just about right. What I do is my oven's already on. My thermometer doesn't work, so I kind of know where to put that. I cook it at about between 450 and 475. Put your pot on top, not directly. Okay, it'll cook the bottom actually. Bit of oil in there. Mix it around. I'm sorry if this video is not that good a quality here for you. I hope you can see it all. Okay, you put that in there like such. And then I put the lid on. And that'll proof it. You know it's proofed. You'll see, I'll take a picture. It'll be right up to about there, and I'm going to put another one in there too. I should point out with these things too, if you're sticking your hand in there to check your dough or anything, make sure it's off. This blade here can take your fingers clean off. Just keep that in mind. There is a safety mechanism, but you can still get your hand in the top, right? So don't stick it all the way to the bottom. Make sure it's off. Okay, the pizza tomato sauce. I use just this. Any brand name or store name, ground tomatoes, no salt, salt added, don't matter. And if you don't want to mix up your own, you can always just even use tomato, what am I saying there, pasta sauce even will work. But if you're making your own like I am, which I like to do, take that same size spoon, by the way, okay, bit of salt, bit of sugar, that, and of course garlic. Now I always just eye this, but if you wanted to spoon it, I would say probably 2 heaping spoonfuls of that size that I've been using there. And I would say 1 heaping spoonful of parsley. And likewise with the oregano. And I also like to use a bit of basil. Basil's a nice sweet spice. Gives it that kind of original sweet smelling taste. And pepper. I always add pepper. Pepper is not so much to make it hot, but it gives it flavor. Just enough. You put too much, it'll get too spicy. And just a little bit of vegetable oil. That helps give it a bit of texture. And if you're storing this for a while, it'll keep it from sticking to your bowl too. And just give it a good mix. Okay, we're going to teach you how to stretch the pizza. First of all, get your pizza pan. Always add oil to it, unless you want to scrape it off with a chisel. And what I do is I just take my hands, smooth it out like this. And there's a reason I use my hands for this, by the way. When you go to grab your dough that's proofed, it won't stick to your hands that way. There's my dough there. Now, I make like a little steering wheel type thing if you want sometimes to start. What I'm doing is I'm just putting a dent there and leaving some of the outer ridge. And I've been doing this for a long time, so I'll try to explain as I go, but I go a lot by feel. You can also use a rolling pin, but when it's this soft, I find it might stick the rolling pin, so all I do is I just do this right on the pizza pan with the oil and just keep pressing it around in circular motion. The idea is you're trying to push the dough to the outside edge, but you don't want to have really thin spots in one place, so you kind of have to keep it even throughout the whole pizza dough. So, again, having done this for a while, it's kind of hard to explain. I just go by feel when I'm making this. And I leave some to the outer edge for the very last. As you might notice, I've got some thicker stuff near the end. And then I just take it and just pinch it off here at the end. Get that other way out there. There. You don't want to hang it over too much, because what will happen is it'll cook and it'll stick like that and you won't be able to get it on. And I don't like to see it in like this either. I like it just to fit perfect. That's how you would do it if you had a restaurant or whatever, to make sure everything is uniform in size. Okay, so that's the stretching of it. And you don't want to press too hard, because if you make it stick to the pan, even though there's oil, like I said, when you take it out, it can stick sometimes. So, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to dress the pizza. Got my ladle here with the pizza sauce. I use about 2 ladles full. You can put the sauce as thick or as thin as you like on it, around in a circular motion. Sometimes you can use a spoon too, by the way. And so likewise with the crust, there's really no rules when you're making pizza. I like to leave just about an inch on the outer edge. Too much more, the sauce can run over and burn on it, and you don't get that nice rising crust near the end. And too much in, then you're just kind of wasting it all, right? Not really making full use of your pizza space. I always put my cheese on the bottom. Sometimes you can put it on top or both. If you do own a pizzeria, sometimes putting it on the bottom gives a better appearance to the pizza. The cheese tends to cover everything, of course, if it's on top. It can also slide off too when you go to take a bite of it if the cheese is on top. I'll just start putting my pepperoni here. I always start with pepperoni. I don't really know if there's any particular reason for it, but most pizzerias, that's the first item that goes on, is your pepperoni, and then all the other ingredients usually go on top of that, like your sausage, your vegetables, and the sky is the limit when it comes to ingredients on pizza. You can put whatever you want. I've seen chicken, even, pineapple, apple slices. I've even heard people doing that too. So, I mean, anything you like to go on pizza, anchovies, green olives, whatever it is. And the whole idea is just to spread everything as uniform as possible. I like a little extra salami on my half, so I just add that to the one half there. And I also have to like hot peppers myself. Green olives, which I'm out of. And I like onions on ours. And you want everything spread out as uniform as possible. Too much of any one ingredient, by the way, especially something like onions, can make your pizza too watery. So don't be afraid. You think you're going skimpy, but it actually will make a better pizza in the end, rather than just loading everything on too much. I make my own sausage, so I add that. I have another video clip of how to do that with the sausage. You can add that at the end or whatever. And hot peppers, which I can just buy at the local grocery store, has them. Banana peppers, just sliced up or whatever. Again, I put it on half. The kids don't like the hot food, neither does the wife, so. Okay, so that's it. I'm done. Now I'll throw that in the oven. About 10 to 15 minutes. I just put one in now. And you just want it so that the crust is kind of golden brown like that. and the cheese is just slightly cooked. And you might like it different. Some like it less and more well done.